ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's so great to have you all here. If you're new here, welcome. We love you. Where have you been? Well, it's good that you are here. Okay, you've not missed out too much. Okay. Today is another interesting day where I get to talk to interesting and amazing couple on marriage, how they found the one, how they knew that it was the one, and all that. Okay, so I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy this conversation. I've got this very special people. Okay, just so grab a cup of zobo or a cup of coffee if you want, just because I want you to enjoy this episode. Okay, my name is Mary Gundimo. I'm your host as usual. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Paulinos. A lot of people know the wife on social media, because she is the one and only crayfish boss. Okay, Tara Philip on Itofels. Yeah, that's her brand name on social media. She owns a food processing company. Hopefully she gets to talk about that, during the course of this interview. But ladies and gentlemen, behold this interesting, super cute couple, Mr. and Mrs. Paulinos. Hey, drums roll. Good afternoon, sir and ma. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
We're doing nice.
You see, Mr. Paulinos is a pastor. You can see the way he just waved. Good afternoon. And he's a pastor.
So funny.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, I really need to say thank you to you, for making our time to do this. I know you are busy. I know you're so busy. So this means a lot to me, and I'm grateful. Okay, so basically, this part of my channel is to talk to, couples and ask them questions about marriage, how they knew that he was the one or she was the one, what your conviction was like, how marriage has been so far. Mr. Paulinos is smiling. Hey. Okay, so before we go ahead, let's just play a short game. Who was the first to say I love you? Who was the first to say I love you? Point to the person.
I was done.
You were the one. Pastor. Who is the first to apologize when there's a fight or when there's a quarrel?
Me. Like me.
Okay.
He doesn't want to argue with you, so he's just giving it to you. Let me just give it to you. Okay. Who is a better dresser? Who dresses the more?
Of course.
Of course. Okay. Who manages money the more? Who manages money more? Who can save better?
Both of us.
What are you? So let me go right into the conversation. So usually when I bring in people here, one of my reasons for bringing couple on this channel is to tell that story of godly marriages and to project the good and godly marriages, happy marriages. I am a huge fan of good marriages, Christian marriages still exist. Okay, so I know that in social media, in the social world, basically there's just too much of bad marriages, divorces, so many things going on. And why not if we can tell the story of love-lasting relationships? Okay, so that's basically why we are doing this. So I'm just going to let you have the floor. I don't know who is going to start, but how did you know that she is the one? In fact, let me start from how did you meet? Okay, how did you meet? Can you remember the story? When and where did you meet?
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something today, because I've been looking for this platform.
Really?
To tell people out there that the will of God is still, I mean, it happens, still happens. So, but one need to surrender his life to Christ first and foremost before God can direct you. So what really happened was that one of these days I came back from work.
Where did you meet me, first of all?
I'm coming.
Let him narrate now. Let him narrate.
My name is Paulinos Sunday.
Okay.
an accountant.
Right.
So, accounting job is this taxing job. And then you leave the home in the morning as early as 7 or 8, before you come back, you're exhausted. So it all happened one of these days. I was so tired, and there was food in the house.
And nobody to cook. Hey, it already cook.
So I had to kneel down beside my bed. I said, God, give me my own, the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh.
Somebody that will be helping you to cook.
All of a sudden, I saw this vision. I saw this lady sitting beside me. I said, no, it cannot happen. Why I say it cannot happen? Because the father is my pastor in the church, a group pastor for that matter, controlling the youths in my group. Then I was now asking myself, how can I approach the daughter? The daughter is not attending my own district. And as I'm saying, the daughter was in the campus, she was in school. I think her second year or third year.
I was still in school, and this man was crushing on his pastor's daughter.
Wait now.
She was in school, but I was asking God, how come this woman, why are you bringing her to me? So I just, okay, it's a vision, let me just forget about it. So it didn't keep on repeating. I keep on seeing her face, my vision, then I keep on praying. Then I told my district pastor then, I said, see what I'm seeing in my vision. He said, young people, see the marriage committee before it's too late. One of our state overseers said overtaking is allowed. If action is not taken, I said, it's okay, Pastor, what should I do now? I've never visited the marriage committee before. He said, okay, write a letter, take it to the marriage committee. That's going to endorse. I said, thank you, sir. I took the letter to the marriage committee. They asked me so many questions. It's okay. I gave them my data, did a lot of tests. It's okay. So one of these is they had to invite her. But before then, the father called me and said, Mr. Bropolinus. I said, he said, you are getting older. Are you not getting married? I said, sir, I've seen somebody I want to marry you. That's the father. I've seen somebody I want to marry you. She said, okay.
He said, okay. Oh.
That's good. He asked me, what have you done? I said, sir, I've gone to the marriage committee. I'm in the marriage committee already. And I'm doing my processing and all those things. The father said, okay.
They did not know.
Fortunately, they didn't know that it was their daughter to the marriage committee. And their daughter was busy disturbing the mom.
Wait now, tell my own story. Please don't tell it for me.
So I was in the marriage committee. And they questioned me. One of these is they brought her. They told us, there's a young man that's coming to propose to you. That was when I proposed to her. And even during that, when I proposed,
I saw that proposal sheet, you would have won it today. I said it would have rhymed with this.
Wait, don't worry. Wow.
But she was shocked that I was the one that proposed to her. Me too, I was, being that was my first time of proposing to a woman, a lady. And it was open. And at the same time, they gave me 15 minutes. I ended up using
it. Is me that will tell that part very well because I
ended up using a few minutes before the normal time I was given. But the day, we went into courtship. It was wonderful.
Maybe they are asking how we met.
Wait.
So, even in church, when I see her, after I propose to her, when I see her, we don't discuss. I just go your way, go my way. Why? Because I'm this kind of person that I don't really want people, talk. I'm not that kind of person.
You're a gentleman now. You're a gentleman. You're a quiet man.
I like what is called procedure. You follow the church procedure. Yeah. Because church is the house of God.
Yeah.
Everything must be done in holiness and
I love. Let me just come in. I love the fact that you are stressing the part of, I want to follow the procedures and this is what the church wants. I'm going to do this. And let me tell you something I'm just taking out from your story. I mean, this may sound funny to a lot of people, but this is God, in reminding me of some things, and it's how he's concerned about the very little details. In your own sincerity, I mean, you had food and there was nobody to cook. And this was you in your sincerity, and you're like, God, I don't have anybody to cook this food for me. I need somebody. And then you got it. I mean, this is my first time of hearing this kind of story. I have never ever heard it this way. Honestly, I know how people will say, "Oh, we met in NYS, we met in this," but I have never heard it that somebody would. It's not something we pay attention to. I don't know, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's just like me saying that, "Oh, I'm in the house. I want to zip up my clothes," and I'm like, God, I need somebody to help me zip up my clothes. It is a trivial thing, but God is still interested in the details. And because he sees the sincerity of your heart, he answered you according to what your prayers are. Amazing. So Mr. Paulinus, do you know at the time, Mr. Paulinus, do you know at the time that your wife was into food processing? Do you have any inclination at any point?
No, she was not into food processing. She became a food processor in my house. all our children started in my house.
What are you feeling like? Hey, this brother is proud. Like all my achievements in your house.
So when you obey the will of God, everything becomes. Your vision comes into existence.
Comes alive.
Everything, your dream, your pursuit in life becomes so easy when you follow the will of God.
Wow.
But if you don't follow the will of God, problem every day, your dream can't come true. Things will happen, and you won't even have rest of mind.
This is amazing. Wow.
So
Thank you.
God will direct, God will show you the way. Let me say this. I didn't know my wife. From Adam, we've not sat down one day.
You've never even said hi to each other before you took me to the marriage committee. It was my dad's spiritual son, like one of those favorites. Yeah, I know that he was one of my father's favorite boys. Let me put it that way.
Boys.
Yeah, it was. Let me use it now. No, but you were one of Popsy's favorite church boys.
But at the same time, it was rare for you to see me, even when I was the dad's favorite son.
He will not drink water I give him.
I won't go to the house.
He will never eat my food. He will never answer my greetings.
Except I'm invited. I don't go to their house. Even it can be in 2 to 3 months before I see me in their house once. Even when I'm in their house, I will not see her. I will not see any of their siblings. I can go there, greet them one, greet the assignments, the work I have to do, I just do it and clear the shop. And that's how should be, so as to avoid a lot of problems, a lot of issues that people try and hook up. Because they say that wisdom is direct. Yes. It's in order to get understanding. So anything you need to be wise in anything.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for stressing out that part. Thank you. Okay, Auntie Toro, let us hear your story now. Let us hear your part of this. Let us hear your part of the story.
Where do I start from?
Anywhere.
Okay. Okay, I was not second to the last stage of school. Okay, means I was almost rounding up.
Okay.
I had like 1 full year or 1 full year plus in school. So I got home this particular period. I became more frequent in the house. Before then, I used to know him like then as one brother in my father's church and all of that. That was like it was like 3 years before that time I came back to school. So basically before that time I came back from school, I just seen him once or twice in the church, maybe when I come on holiday and all of that. And most times exposed in the fellowship, you don't go home on holiday, especially our kind of fellowship that is now a church. So by this particular time, I decided to become full-time in my father's church. So all of a sudden, I started observing this, this bro. He had this outstanding threads, outstanding car. It wasn't fine. You know, his shirt used to be very big. Like, you know, those Deeperlife brothers of those days, they don't used to iron shirts. Their shirts used to be like 4th grade or hair, things like that. So
No,
you have to drag our brothers.
I love the way she talks because she just tell you raw. So I'm used to it. So even when she wants to say a lot, I'll just accept. It's all about marriage.
That's it.
So he was the youth pastor of that district church. So I kept on observing this brother. He's kind, he's principled, he has comportment, you know, as a fine happening babe at that time, you know.
It's plenty.
Yeah, you get to see men who are very, very forward. So, seeing somebody that is not so forward, you know, I was like, there's something, you know, something special about this person. So all of a sudden, I started crushing on him.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I just started crushing.
He's allowed for a lady.
Yeah, it is.
Even in church, he's allowed.
He's allowed.
He's allowed.
So I just picked interest in him. I started developing feelings for him. Every day, the feelings were becoming valid. Every day, the feelings were growing. And where I come from in my family, we are allowed to talk about boys and the things happening in our lives.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was very open for her. So I got to the house, the things kept on growing. I kept on asking, because they know him very well. So I kept on asking my parents, who is this guy? What is his situation? What is this? What is that? You know, every time I was always talking about him. One day they told me, Madam, be careful, that brother is engaged. Hey, you know, at this point, he had already told my father that
he has taken somebody's name to the marriage committee. Oh, and daddy doesn't even know you.
Daddy doesn't know that it was me.
I see. Wow.
So they told me he was engaged. You know that feeling of loving somebody who is loving another person.
That triangle.
you know that kind of prayer that you start praying, oh God, let it scatter by fire in the name of Jesus.
I know.
So part of me wanted to pray that kind of prayer. Another part of me was like, is it worth it? There are many men and you are still very young, you still meet your own. But I realized, despite hearing that, the love did not die down. It then I started noticing that my pastor, like to make things worse, my pastor started pairing me and my husband to be working together in the church. So the pastor knew what was happening and literally dragged me into the youth ministry.
That pastor is wise. That pastor is wise.
I decided to kiss campus goodbye at that period because I was enjoying the district church and I had one where I was, so I was kind of stable in the church then, even where they kept on calling on me to come back. So we kept on holding youth programs together, holding house caring fellowship. I remember one day, at this point, I loved him. And it's not that when you love somebody, you want to know if this person is loving you back.
Yeah.
So don't get to waste your love.
Exactly.
So I've been looking for signs to know if this brother Kukuma has my time. I tried though. I'll see this guy in church. I'll walk up to him to greet him. Like, he will not answer. If he sees me coming out from this part of the church, he will immediately run and go to the other part of the church. One day, I was decorating the church. Like, I was led to decorate the church. So I brought the decorators one non-church day, and we're decorating the church. He came, I tried doing the same thing, thinking maybe it's people he used to run away from. But this time around, Just you're not interested. Yeah, still the same thing happened. But you know, when somebody loves you, no matter how he wants to hide it, it will still show somehow.
Please let me tell my audience to write that one down. That's Rema right there. That's the key point. Write it down. It's essential. You're right.
So this particular day, we had house caring fellowship. I came for the house caring fellowship under the rain. When I got into the church, the fans were on, the rain had beat me, everywhere was cold, I was coughing. So, you know, when you're trying to get somebody's attention, the person, you know, does not give you attention for the first time. This guy now told me, Sister, are you feeling cold? Can I off the fan for you? Hey! It was like, I want trophy, like finally I got his attention.
What does that mean?
Like for the it was like I won a laurel. Like, hey, this brother talked to me in a loving and manner.
Wow.
I was still trying my luck. If it's church work, it would just be strict to the church work and attend to it. Any other thing does not concern him. So this particular period, we had Crusade. He organized the crusade for the youth in the district. We went for the crusade. And as soon as I stepped into that crusade ground, that first night with my brother, people were not there. I saw him, I saw his brother, I saw other people. Something just told me as I stepped in, this is your husband. You know, at this point, I have tried everything to validate my feelings. At this point, too, they had told me that he's already engaged. And yet the feelings did not grow cold. It kept on increasing. And this is me on a crusade ground hearing, this is your husband. And knowing that this guy is somebody that I have tried severally to, not like I was trying to push myself on
just
him,
to even be close to, at least.
Yes, at least say hello, say something. Ask me how it's school. Just say something now. Not like we're talking about relationship. Treat me like a human being, not like a blade. Something like that. So I had that in the church, in that crusade ground. I said, okay, God, if this one is real, if it's real, let him walk up to me and talk to me in this crusade. It was a 4 days crusade, I'll be 5 days.
4 days.
I think it was a 4 days crusade. The first day, no show. Second day,
no show.
The third day, I even went around where he was doing his thing. At least God can, you know, ask God that
in case he forgot.
Yes. God told him to say something and he forgot to say the thing. So I went around that third day, almost as usual. He did not send me. Now, on the fourth day, no show. That was
so the
crusade finished.
Wow.
The crusade ended on the fourth day. No show. I say, oh yeah, God, I am tired of this torture. Can my life now be? He's engaged. No confirmation. Can I leave? Can I just be?
That's an open mouth.
10 p.m. 10 p.m. The state pastor, I was still on the crusade ground. Crusade had finished. I was still on the crusade ground. 10 p.m. The state pastor was doing counseling to new converts and all of that. I was sitting down in my father's car when all of a sudden I heard from nowhere, Itoro, come down and pack these chairs. I was like, guess who was speaking? It was like,
This is not what I want to hear. Oh, back which chair? What is that?
That's the question I asked myself. Which chair? Because before I got into the car, youth had already finished packing chairs on the Crusade ground. They stacked the chairs. So I was now saying, which chairs? But I sure came down from the car. I now went to him, I said, which chairs? He now showed me 1, 2, 3 chairs. You did not fear your pastor. I am in my father's car. They are shouting to come down and pack these chairs for the first time.
But yes, you obeyed.
But at least you got what you wanted now. You wanted him to talk to you and he has spoken.
Yes, I already told God. So God already shown that through you. So I came down and packed the chairs. Guess what? Guess what?
Shock me.
My overprotective parents drove off from the Crusade ground to their house and left him by 10 p.m.
So come on by yourself.
Itoro is packing chairs to the church. So by 10 p.m. she will find her way to the house. What my parents cannot do on a normal day.
Hallelujah. The Lord is working.
When it comes to the will of God, man becomes helpless. Man cannot do anything. When it comes to the will of God.
This is incredible. Jesus.
The reason man becomes foolishness. So when it comes to the will of God is the most wisest, is the most knowledgeable, he knows everything. So we as human beings, created in the image of God, become useless, helpless, and by then we have nothing in us to do, so than to submit to his own divine will. So that's
interesting. How did you get to?
My house is not far from the church.
Okay.
Not something my parents would, take for granted by that time of the day. So it just happened. So I have sharp gotten in fact, when they left the Crusade ground, my thought was they were even going to the church to go and wait for me. That was what was in my head. So I just carried the chairs from the Crusade ground to the church to go and drop it according to the instruction that he gave, thinking I would see my parents to follow them home. When I got to the church, my parents were not there. They had gone to their house. So I was now left in the church, like, will I say alone? Okay, I was in the church with your brother, your brother, and a few other brothers. I was like the only sister there. So I said, it's like, I had his number. I think I had his number, but I shall know that I placed a call through. I said, but that is why we even see my call. And even answer me that night. So I picked up my phone, I called him. I said, bro, you said I should carry chairs and go to church. Me shall know what happened. He did not know what happened. You asked me to carry chair to the church. I am in the church. How am I going to go to my father's house from the church alone by past 10 p.m.? He said, don't worry. That was what he said on the phone. Don't worry. At that point, I knew that I was not suffering in vain. I was not loving in vain. I was not emotionally tortured in vain. So he came to the church with other brothers, and that was how they dropped me off at my gates with other brothers, and everything just ended like that. But at least, even if it's going to take time, I still knew that at least we are one step ahead. And I did not even expect anything to happen so soon. I didn't even know that he has even gone to the marriage committee, and marriage committee were the ones delaying the whole process. He had submitted my name since.
And they didn't even call you.
They didn't call me all this while.
Wow.
So the group pastor, district pastor now came one day and started talking marriage. I was like, what is this one even? Because I didn't expect it to happen so soon now. How was this one?
Are you open to talking about how old you were at the time? I've read some of your write-ups, and you know how you explained that you were a bit young, when you got married, and you know how, in this part of the world, you know how we look at, some ladies who are getting married at a young age. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't know if you probably talk about it a little.
I was 22 years when the whole of that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, 22 years when it happened.
That's a number. But when it comes to her psychic, her brain, she was...
Mama! Mama! Mama, now wisdom. I let me tell you again, again, when I hear stories like this, I like to always, draw out my own lessons, from this. And you know what your husband said about when God is the one writing your love story, like when God is the one doing it, your own human reasoning becomes nothing, because you can't help the process. You can't be by yourself. So this is one thing I used to tell people. If you know that you want God to help you, let God help you 100%. Don't try to, use your own understanding or think that you are wise in some ways. Let God help you, and let God be the one to do everything for you, right? And honestly, this is what I'm learning. I mean, you didn't even know that he had taken your name to the MC, and he also didn't even know that there was something already building in your own
for me.
Wow.
In fact,
this God is a good God. So let's talk about when the proposal happened.
The whole marriage committee process. When the pastor started saying something like marriage, I was like, a job, I beg, just shit, because at that point I did not I was just coming into Akwa Ibom. I just came into Akwa Ibom for my studies.
Okay.
Yeah, so I spent a good number of years in different states outside of Akwa Ibom. So I had this dislike for Akwa Ibom men. I just did not like them. So when the pastor came and started talking about marriage committee, I was like, who is this one? Because I know that no campus brother can have money to take me to marriage committee at that point. So I was now...
You can evaluate somebody and simplify somebody.
No, but that's actually the truth now, because everybody is a student.
Brother. And I was not also suspecting him because things were just happening, so I wasn't expecting him to. And I told the pastor, I just answered anyhow, because I don't like Akwa Ibom, and I'm like, what is one Akwa Ibom Deeperlife brother coming to look for in my life? That was how I just ignored the pastor like that day. One blessed Sunday, we're now going to church.
Hallelujah.
About going to church, my father received a call that this is from the marriage committee. Can you tell your daughter to come to the marriage committee 2 p.m. today? Shebi is not me, they call my father. My father will be asking me, did you go or did you not go? So I went. They went, started their talking. Me, at this point, I had somebody in mind already. So when they asked if God is leading me to somebody, I said, no, I beg you. No. Because I'm not, at this point, I'm not still 100% sure of this brother. If through my mother said he's engaged, so I don't know. Let me not go and use my mouth and block my destiny.
Your will.
My will of God. So I told them, no, nobody. God is not leading me to anybody, I beg. That's what I told them. I said, okay. Went through all the tests, all their money share, all their stress. Let me put it that way. I went through it. I said, though, I did not see the person they say is going to propose to me. At the point, I was like, oh, maybe our genotype
didn't match.
Because I'm of the AS, and now I was the girl wilder. Exactly. So I felt maybe I felt the person that came. I was like, maybe we are not compatible, something. So because it was taking too long, I saw another proposal, so I just ignored. So one day I was just sleeping in my house. Did we have house caring fellowship that day?
No.
No,
We went there.
we did not. No, no. There was house caring fellowship. Yes, there was house caring fellowship. I went for house caring fellowship, but he was not in the house caring fellowship. So I saw another person standing in, Imogen was standing in for you. So house caring fellowship took place. I went back to my house and slept that Sunday. Around almost 5 o'clock, I now received a call. Sister Itoro, come to the marriage committee. No. I'm like,
Again.
No. You know, when after passing out through their test and they tell you come, it's a proposal. At this point, I was now like, oh, who is the person? So, you know, I was so eager to see the person. At this point, I'd even forgotten the Crusade encounter. I was still having the mind of my husband is still engaged. So I got into the auditorium they were using for marriage committee. At this point, I had gotten, God has said, so my prayer was maybe God should just scatter their relationship so that he will
eventually be yours.
Because my parents cannot be lying now. That was what I thought. So I got into the church auditorium now. You know, if you've gone to marriage committee before, you will be seeing different people. So I scanned everybody I saw there. I saw him. I was now looking around for his babe. At least I've heard since it's the marriage committee. So at this point, they should be,
they should be about to wed.
So you should be here with your babe. So I looked around. I was like, the only lady there, daddy. I now looked around and engaged the brothers. They did not look like people who could
approach you.
Your husband, I salute you, sir.
So he was the prime suspect, but at the same time, you know, when something is too real to be real, like it's not possible. It cannot be happening. No. Hey. I said it cannot be. So I even felt, you know how our church is. I felt maybe they even hit the brother since I was thinking I was the one coming. I was even thinking they already told the brother to stay one place and wait for him. One high. Now our church can do. So I went into the office, they did all the company share and said in the next 10 minutes, my brother is coming to propose to you. And they gave me a hall to go and sit down to wait for proposal. This one I'm talking, I went into the hall. I was so confused.
Exactly.
Exactly. I started arranging all the chairs in the church because I was confused, destabilized, and traumatized.
And she was asking herself, who is this brother? Where is he coming? Where is he coming?
Who? I now saw I'm seeing the person I also love. He's in marriage committee. Who is the babe? What is happening? Man, then it was a terrible experience that day. I said, 10 minutes passed, no show. 10 minutes passed, no show. 20 minutes passed, no show. I sat down there, I was there sleeping. At least sleep was the only thing that could calm my raging heart. Sleep was the only thing that could bring me peace. So after waiting for long, I did not see the so-called brother coming forth. So I started sleeping. I just arranged chairs and slept off in the church. So while I was sleeping, I heard footsteps coming. Hey! Restlessness started. Bam, 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 bam. Who is this person? My heart was racing. God of mercy. I said, oh God, who? I'm thinking of my brother that I love, that is in the arms of another woman.
Oh, hilarious.